We have big news. We have exciting news for you. Tell them what it is, Serena.
We are super excited to announce that we are starting our first membership this January 2024.
Yay! Membership.
So we're excited to let you know that we will be hosting a monthly membership where when you join, you will be
With us live in a Zoom room once a month for a workshop like we just hosted. It's going to be a workshop like that, one topic each month, a different topic. You might even help us come up with the following month's topic from inside our membership. Super excited to meet you. It was so fun meeting a few of you in our inaugural workshop. So we're really looking forward to that.
And when you are a member, you will also be receiving a monthly newsletter where I'm going to be a little more intimate and I'll be sharing the things that are working and the things that aren't working for me.
Yeah, like taking a tool that you've learned from the podcast and how you're implementing it and how well that worked, or maybe if it didn't work. And then Amma can put in my 2 bits worth. We'll see how that goes. But a membership newsletter and a membership live Zoom room workshop starting in January 2024. Can sign up through our Patreon link in the show notes. Yeah.
Yes, everything will be in the show notes, and we can't wait to see you there, listeners.
We can't wait. Yay.
Hi, my name is Serena. I am a mother to a toddler and currently pregnant.
And hi, I'm Lisa, also known as the Singing Amma. Amma means grandmother in Icelandic. I am a mama and an Amma.
At the beginning of my first pregnancy, I felt like I was lacking my village, which is why we are here creating a village with you, in hopes that you won't feel as isolated as I did.
I also felt the lack of a village in my early parenting years way back when. And I come to our village with a background in early childhood education. I have been coaching parents along their parenting journeys and supporting them for over 35 years.
Amma, Lisa, and I invite you to grab your latte
Or your tea
and come sit around the proverbial fire with us each week.
when we come together to have a conversation where we'll be talking all things parenting, keeping it real, keeping it raw, right here with you. Hello, I'm Lisa, the Singing Amma. Today's column is entitled Parent and Child Fun Day Dates. Parents, do you feel stressed and like you are in a constant battleground with your kids? In this crazy busy culture, giving out our children directives all day and hurrying them along has become the norm. Inject some positive, rejuvenating love time with your children with the Singing Amma's simple solution: Fun Day Dates. A date planned for just you and your child. If you have multiple children, this is for you and one of your children. It's a solo child and a solo parent kind of a date. There's lots of other times for both parents to go with a child or children, but this is really about a date one-on-one. It's set apart from the busyness of life. It's an opportunity for you to remember just how special and important you are to one another. Dear Singing Amma, I recently tried your suggestion and took my daughter on a fun day date. We had a fun afternoon. We went to a cafe, the library, and then out for supper. Driving home, I was feeling really good about our date. Until my daughter started talking about the movie theater and how we should go right now. How it wasn't fair if we didn't go, she said. questioning why not. She sounded so disappointed. I ended up feeling completely unappreciated. So, Singing Amma, I ask you, what should I have done differently to make this fun day work out better in the end? Thanks, one helpless mama. Dear one, caught up in the excitement of having your undivided attention and the empowerment of being part of the decision-making process, your daughter was likely pushing just to see how much control she might now have. This is a natural response. To guide you both to a smoother landing next time, here's a few ideas. I recommend that you decide on a time frame before you go. Knowing an end time can help make the choices that you do make fit into the time allowed. Another thought is to write the next couple of fun day dates on the calendar. This way your child will see this is not a one-off event. She can look forward to this happening again. Also, if the child begins to ask for just one more activity, answer with a positive, "That's a great idea. Let's write it on the calendar for next time." Like your movie. Awesome. You can decide if you want to do it on our next date or the date after. It might be determined by what movie is playing, I guess. Let's do that as soon as we get home. Also, give them their wishes in fantasy. This is a beautiful tool that is taught in the fantastic work that is under the name of How to Talk So Kids Will Listen and Listen So Kids Will Talk. Highly, highly recommend that book and all the work that Adele Faber and Elaine Maslich have created over the years. So giving them their wishes in fantasy. Here's an example. Wow, wouldn't it be cool if we could have fun day dates all day and never even sleep? The idea is you make the wish bigger than life, much, much bigger. Be playful with it. And almost always, your child will play along. Trying to talk and reason children out of things is usually a one-way street to mutual frustration. Whenever possible, change a mood, not a mind. That's a quote by Dr. Haim Ginott, who wrote Parent and Child, and who also was the psychology teacher who taught the women who wrote the How to Talk So Kids Will Listen series, Dr. Haim Ginott. Whenever possible, change a mood, not a mind.
Change a mood, not the mind. That's good.
It's good, right?
Yes, I like that a lot.
That is Dr. Haim Ginott. He wrote the book called Between Parent and Child. And for those of you who've been creating families for longer, he also wrote Between Parent and Teenager. And he is nothing short of brilliant, in my humble opinion. Change a mood, not a mind. I mean, honestly, have any of you ever tried to change your child's mind when they are, really stuck on something?
Yeah,
Like
and it's just back and forth, back and forth. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
Why won't you let me? I want to go to that movie. You're being mean, and you've just had this whole incredible date.
Yeah.
And now you're being mean.
And then it's just a back and forth, and then it ruins everybody's mood.
Yeah. So change a mood, not a mind. So one of the awesome tools that is taught, as I said, in the column, um, giving them their wishes in fantasy. And that is taught in the book and the course, How to Talk So Kids Will Listen, and Listen So Kids Will Talk, which is a program I have facilitated millions, no, dozens, hundreds, probably hundreds of times in the last 35 years. And it's an incredible 7-week program. Anyway, written by Adele Faber and Elaine Maslish, who studied with Dr. Haim Ginott in a parent group for 5 years. And then they wrote their books. They wrote Liberated Parents, Liberated Children first, and it went worldwide. And so many people wrote to them and said, okay, this all sounds great, but how do we do it? So then they wrote the how to talk so kids will listen, and listen so kids will talk. And it's brilliant. So giving them their wishes in fantasy, like the example in the story I related from the mama who wrote in to me for my response in the column. And I have a few other really fun examples of that. Let's just touch on that quickly before we go more into the fun day date idea. One of them was my own experience with my girl when she was maybe 3 or 4, something like that, probably 3, pretty little. She's in the back seat. We're almost home, and she wants something to eat. Mama, I'm hungry. All right, honey, we'll be home really soon. No, but I'm hungry right now. Okay, yeah, we're just like within 5 minutes of being home. But mama, I need food. I'm really, really hungry. And you know how it goes, right? It's just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So doing the wishes in fantasy, I said, what if we had an apple as big as the car? And she went, oh my God, there could never be an apple as big as a car because it couldn't even grow on a tree. And we just went into this whole fun conversation about massive, giant apples. And it changed the mood. And as soon as we got home, there was food. And so, and it just, instead of getting into the battleground of, listen, logically, we have no food and we're 5 minutes away from home. Because logic ain't going to do it, as most of you will know by the time your kids are probably close to 2, right? So that was a really fun one. And another one that I love, another example, just to clarify this whole idea of giving them their wishes in fantasy for people, for parents listening. The other one that I love was one of my brothers took the course with me when his children were preschoolers, and they went to a big Easter egg hunt. And we had just done week 1, which is when you learn, this is one of the tools we learn in week 1. And they went to a big Easter egg hunt. And at that Easter egg hunt, it was an outdoor community Easter egg hunt. And one of the things that always happened at that Easter egg hunt was this Easter bonnet contest. So kids and their families would all make their Easter bonnets, and then there would be this parade of Easter bonnets, and then there would be this contest, and there were prizes. So my little niece was very excited about this Easter bonnet contest, and they got there. And she had put, all her heart and soul into making this Easter bonnet. And there was no Easter bonnet parade or contest that year. And she was devastated and just about ready to melt down into a pile in the middle of this great, beautiful Easter egg community gathering. And it was time to go as well. And she's like, no, but we haven't done the contest, and I was going to win. And my brother went, give them their wishes in fantasy. Okay, what can I do? So he said, what if the car was made of chocolate? And both kids went running to the car, talking about which parts they would eat first. And how could they drive because the wheels would be up. And so it just shifted the whole energy. And I also just want to inject here, acknowledging the feelings that the child is having first
Mm-hmm.
is very important. That's key. You don't want to bulldoze over them. You don't want to just ignore that the child is really upset about something. I get that you're disappointed that there's no Easter bonnet contest this year. I so get it. I hear that you're heartbroken. And I have a funny thing to say. What if the car was made of chocolate? So there's a bit of a segue into
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging the feeling and then shifting the mood. And if the feeling was big enough that they carried it with them for a while after the fun of eating the car, in fantasy, um, if the feeling was still there after the meltdown aspect of the feeling, that's when you can address the feeling and talk through it. When you're in the middle of the meltdown moment, you aren't going to get
Yeah.
much talking done except for
Mm-hmm.
melting down. Yeah.
And sometimes we might just ignore that, and because it's the way we look at our kids, we kind of look down at them like, oh, we can just make them forget, we could just distract them. But even, I think we said this in another episode or another discussion, like if I'm fighting with my husband because I'm upset about something and he doesn't acknowledge why I'm upset, and he's like, you're mad for no reason, it just
Mm-hmm.
makes it
Mm-hmm.
double. The reason just doubled when you said that.
Now I'm not only upset about what I'm upset about, I'm also really not too happy with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you just dismissed these big feelings that I'm having.
Mm-hmm.
So we
So
don't want to dismiss our kids' feelings. But let's talk about these fun day dates with our kids. What did you get from that, Serena?
yeah, I really love it. And one of the problems when Tuesdays and Wednesdays are my day with my baby girl. So we try to get out as much as possible, and I get tired of the park. I'm sure she gets tired of the park, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays are kind of I want to make them more of a fun day date than just let's get through the day. So
Mm-hmm.
so I'm always stuck thinking about what can we do. And obviously it can't be as extravagant as that, but I do want them to be fun days for her and for me. And going to the park, going to the library, we go to the garden. That's like our community garden, and she likes to walk around, and I love it because they have a little area for kids to bang pots and pans, and they have some chimes, and you can run the sticks along the chimes, and that's really fun.
Nice.
And when I was listening to that, I just wanted to look up some other things that people can do on a fun day date. And bowling is something that's really fun. That
Fun.
I love bowling, and I always forget, like on a Friday, even as a family, I always want to have a I always want a fun day date on Friday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And bowling
I
is
just
close.
I just want to interject here.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that can be really fun is for you, and depending on the age of your child, like I know you just have a toddler,
Yeah.
but you could start with her a little bit, but encouraging the kids to actually be part of choosing what the date is.
Yeah.
So when they're 3, when they're 4, all the way up, they can really start choosing, right?
Yeah.
And also, if you're going on a family date, you and your partner and your babies, whatever, your children, um, brainstorm together. Just think
Mm-hmm.
of the fun things. I mean, there's museums, there's aquariums, go on to the old Google and just say fun things to do with families in whatever city you're in, whatever area you're in.
Yeah.
And then here's the idea. You write down each date idea on a separate piece of paper and you put it in a special box or a special tin. And then you could just pick randomly if you wanted to, or you could use those pieces of paper just to remind yourself, oh yeah, bowling. I want to go bowling
Yeah.
this week,
Yeah. I
because
actually did that this summer with my husband. We never got to pick out stuff though, because the summer just flew by. But we did do that, and that's a great idea. And even when you just think of something, put it on a piece of paper and throw it in there. And then that way, when if the three of you can't decide, or the three of no, let's go here, no, let's go. Okay, let's pick something out
Right.
of the jar
Right.
to avoid that argument.
Yeah. And if you have multiple children too, each child could have a turn, each different,
Mhm.
what they get to do.
Yes, and I love that at the end of the day, when this person that wrote in said, how can I avoid that meltdown at the end when we just had a great day together? That's such a great way. Well, we can do that next time.
Mhm.
That's perfect. So when we get home, let's make a list of what you want to do next time. You get to pick 3 things that you want to do. We'll put that. You
Mhm.
can put it first, second, or third, and that's
Yeah.
great.
That's what I call being a yes parent. And being a yes parent doesn't mean, they walk all over you and you say yes to everything. It means you lead with yes. So
Mhm.
instead of saying, no, we are not going to the movie. I just spent however much money I just spent, or we spent 5 hours together and did it like, and then you get resentful as the parent, right?
Mhm.
And like she said, I feel totally unappreciated and all of that, all of those yucky feelings. And um, so then, oh boy, I just lost the train there.
Being a yes parent.
Being a yes parent. Thank you. So then she saying, yes, that's a great idea. Let's do that, rather than no, we're not doing that, because what that encourages is the child and you to butt heads together.
Mhm.
And
It
they're going to
opens
butt
that.
against you and butt against you and butt against you. And you're going to, whatever happens, you may get angry or you may give in or whatever. So
Yeah. Yeah. It
yeah.
opens that back and forth that just, like I said, ruins both moods. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because that is something, and like I said, I'm the new mama and I'm learning. I don't There's a difference between that and spoiling them and letting them think that they can get everything that they want when
Yeah, this is not about spoiling.
Mhm.
This is about saying, yes, let's do that. As soon as we get home, you can write it on the calendar, or
Mhm.
you can make a note for that for our next date, or however you're doing it at your house, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to share one memory that I have of myself and my dad. And I don't know how old I was. I was maybe like 6 or 7. And we did this once. And this is actually where I came up with this idea for families when I started coaching families. We did this once. And he said to me, and he did it with each of his 4 children at the time. He said to me, you get to choose a date with me. And we're going to go. I can't remember if it was a whole day or half a day or whatever it was. You get to choose what we do, and you get to choose where we have a meal together. I was just like, what? Like the empowerment that I remember, I still have that in my body, as you can hear in the tone of my voice.
Mhm.
And Serena can see me. I'm like, what? And it's like, I got to choose anything in the big city we lived in. I got to choose. And my daddy said yes. And just me and him. Are you kidding me
Yeah.
right now? We got to go. So I chose to go to Playland, which is like Vancouver, British Columbia's big amusement park with all the rides and the roller coaster and the Ferris wheel. And I have such incredible memories of that, like going on the Ferris wheel with my dad and him like rocking it a bit at the top and me clinging on to him. And then
Aw.
me telling him years later that he did that he rocked it at the top. And he said, I don't think I would have even gone on the Ferris wheel with you because I'm terrified of heights. And I'm like, what? You totally went on the Ferris wheel and you rocked it at the top. And then we went out for dinner together and I got to choose the restaurant. And it was just like, it's a huge beacon of loving memories that I have with my dad.
Yeah, that's
And it
awesome.
just happened once, and it was
Mhm.
precious. It was precious.
Yeah,
So,
and that one-on-one too, like you mentioned,
yeah.
because going on with all the kids is very different than that one-on-one time, which is really important. So you get to really know each kid individually and connect with each of them
Exactly. And
because it
when there
gets
are more
hectic.
children in a family, more than one, they crave that one-on-one.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
each parent. They want to know that they are important, that they
Yeah.
matter, that
And
they're
it
not
becomes a
just.
competition. Like, who's your favorite?
Mhm,
And then they see, but when you get that one-on-one, it really helps.
mhm.
But I
Yeah.
just wanted to mention the rest of the things just to give
Sure. Yeah.
parents an idea.
More ideas. And please also parents, like, write into us. Let us
Yeah.
know what date ideas you have where you live, and let us know how your fun day dates go. We
Mm-hmm.
really want to hear from you. It's so exciting.
So we have bowling, progressive dinner, which I found, which is sounds really fun. I know I would love it, but getting an appetizer somewhere, then going the next place for the dinner, the entree, and then dessert somewhere else.
Yum.
Yeah. Going to the movies, museum, the zoo, just going to feed the ducks, a picnic at the park, depending on where you live, going canoeing, swimming, sledding, hiking, see a play or a ballet, fishing, volunteer at a soup kitchen together, which sounds really
Mm.
fun. I love volunteering, and you're developing a good habit for your kids. Also build a fort at home. That's really fun for me. I thought of that one because I love building
Nice.
forts.
Nice. I got to get you out to my place.
But like going big and putting the lights in it and making it a massive fort, and that sounds fun. Bake something together and or do an arts and crafts project. I know my mom I would spend weekends with my mom sometimes, and we would always go to Michael's and find a craft to do that weekend, like make soap. And I always remember that. That was really fun. And
Yeah,
going,
like choosing a craft or an
mm-hmm,
activity or choosing something to bake together. And my encouragement is, the one thing in there I would hesitate on is the movie idea, because so many of us watch movies at home like daily.
yeah.
So please don't use fun day dates to watch Netflix at home,
Yeah,
like, or
not
whatever.
at home. Yeah.
No, going to a movie theater, fine.
Yeah.
And I also, if you choose to go to a movie, or if your child really wants to go to a movie, there's something exciting coming up for them, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want it to be more than just a movie, because in movies, we don't communicate.
Yes, that's true.
We're not actually hanging out with one another.
Mm-hmm.
So have something prior to the movie that's fun that you do together, or even better, have something after so that you can talk about the movie, or, what parts you enjoyed, what parts you didn't, did parts make you was scary, like whatever. So just have something else as well as sitting there watching something.
So please share with us your fun day dates and let us know where you live and what's something fun that you guys can do there. Because I mean, it will look different for people in Australia, for
Mhm.
people in Canada, over here in New York, down in California.
Mhm. Yeah, one of the things that I love to do with little ones is just go to the beach, and sometimes they just want to throw rocks in the water. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah,
throw rocks and see how big a splash you can make. So
it
it'll
could be
depend
so
on the
simple.
age of your child, or it'll depend on, what kind of person that is. Some children would just love going to a museum and looking at cool things, and other kids would have no interest at all.
Yeah.
So really, as your children are old enough to get them to have the inspiration for the date and let them choose. That's really the goal. Yeah. So have fun, and yeah, please let us know. We're so excited to hear from you. And thanks for listening. Thanks for being here with us in our virtual village. We'd love you to join our Facebook group at The Village Parenting Community, and on Instagram at The Village Parenting Pod.
And if you enjoy our podcast, please like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you have a moment, please leave us a review. It makes a big difference for us in reaching more parents out there who may be feeling alone.
Please direct message us to connect also. We absolutely love hearing from you. And until next week, we'll be keeping it real and raw right here with you.
This podcast is sponsored by the Singing Amma's private parent coaching and workshop offerings, and also by Enlightened Designs for Crafty Mamas.